Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Rev.Frances Lorenz, and I am delighted to welcome you. Let there be light. So we're going to introduce everyone. Terry O'Hara on piano. You've just heard Bienvenido, Yangco playing Be Thou My Vision, which I didn't know was an Irish traditional song. I've heard that for years and didn't know it was Irish, so thank you. And also our guest musician today is Stephan Plummer. So let's give a round of applause for our musical staff. On platform with me is not Matthew Breck, because he's taking the day off after many months of being here. So I am going to do a contemplative meditation just in a little while based on Carl Sagan's prayer for Earth, which I think we need right now. With me is our lead practitioner, Mona Williams, who will be doing our opening prayer, and then I'll do the meditation. And I think I've introduced everybody. Pam Migliosi is our usher, lead usher greeter. And so we're so happy to have you here this morning. So we're going to start with an opening prayer from Mona, and that'll be followed by that contemplative prayer. Everybody needs to have a program if you don't have it, because we're going to be focused on the tiny blue dot that, as Carl Sagan called it, which was one of the last pictures taken from outer space as they were leaving the mission. And it showed up as a tiny blue dot against vast space.
Good morning. There is a divine power and presence, all-knowing, all-encompassing, a presence filled with love, with joy, with peace, with understanding. And this divine power and presence is God. And I know that there is only the one life, the life of God, the mind of God, which is living and breathing in, as, and through me, and in, as, and through each person that is within the sound of my voice. And so this morning, I declare that this day is a day of peace. It is a day of love. It is a day of joy. It is a day that God has given each and every one of us. And so I know and declare right here and right now that I move and have my way through spirit to see things transpire. That I will walk the earth and be the presence of God, living the life of God, and being grateful for the life that I live, because my life is God's life. And so this morning I say thank you, God. Thank you for the blessings of life. Thank you for family, for friends. Thank you for CSL Tacoma and Rev.Frances. Thank you for the musicians. Thank you for the practitioners. Thank you for each person that is right here in this sanctuary. I say thank you for all of this and so much more. And so now I release my word into the full activity of love and law, knowing that what I've declared is already done, knowing that my word will not return to me void. I let go, I let God, and I anchor this by saying, and so it is.
So it is. So we're going to be doing a contemplative meditation by reflecting on the tiny blue dot. This meditation was written by Carl Sagan. It's called his Contemplative Prayer. And it was sent to me by a friend cognizant of everything that's going on in the world right now. And So let's just take a deep breath and relax and let go of all the worries or anything you came in here thinking, and just focus on the words to Carl Sagan's prayer by looking at that blue dot. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you've ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero, every coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. The earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe, are challenged by this point of pale light. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that will help, that will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit, yes. Settle, not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the earth is where we make our stand. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we have ever known. Carl Sagan. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living. How's everybody doing on this blue dot? I'm glad to be on this blue dot. So thankful. So this song is I Am As God Created Me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Okay, got it? Yay. Got it, maestro?
Got it.
I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, in the light, in in the light, in the love, in the glory I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory, in the light, in the love, in the glory, in the light, in the love, in the glory I am. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, in the light, in the love, in the glory, in the light, in the love, in the glory I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory, in the light, in the love, in the glory, in the light, in the love, in the glory I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory, in the light, in the love, in the glory, in the light, in the love, in the glory I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory, in the light, in the love, in the glory, in the light, in the love, in the glory I am.
The announcements are, it's not too late to register for classes. You can check our website. All of the classes are listed. We're starting Children's Church back on the 3rd of April. So if you have grandchildren or children, we'd love to have them back here at the center. It's been 2 years since we've had children in the building. So it would be lovely to have them come. Eiley Jordan is our instructor, and she's been doing classes online all this time. And one of our musicians, Christina Brewer, has 2 children that have been her long enduring attendees through it all. So anyway, we're hoping to get back and rebuild our youth church again. I mean our youth center. The classes we're offering, there's a meditation class. There's also a self-mastery class based on Ernest Holmes and the 5 Agreements by Ruiz. So that one starts at the end of the month on the 28th, I believe. So just check the website. We rescheduled the forgiveness workshop Matthew and I were doing in February. It's going to be June 11th. So, and we'll be announcing other classes in the future that you can take, especially our base class, which is Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life, which is a 5-week class we call Foundations. So if you're interested in taking that, it'll be offered, I believe, starting in May. So, all right. But you could take self-mastery without a prerequisite if you wanted to take it. So I think we had a great Irish event, by the way. Thank you, those of you who came. It was really fun. The food was delicious. And I wanted to say that we were offering these lovely, let me get an AV. These are little fir trees. And they're from Weyerhaeuser Gardens, and it has care and planting instructions. And so we did say that anyone who we were raising some money for 3 projects. One is a portable mic. We need 2 of them because these mics are picking up light beams, if you can imagine, so there's static on them. They're older microphones, so we need 2. What kind of microphone do we need, Larry? No, but the type, is it UHF? UHF is what we need, not VHS. VHS is picking up lights and all kinds of static. So anyway, so that was one of the projects. The second project was this door is not handicap accessible. So we have a whole handicap entrance and handicap entry door on the outside that is made to specification, but this church was built in 1909, and so this door is, so person in a wheelchair can't come into the sanctuary. So we want to widen this door and make it accessible. And the other thing we want to do is take the green out and put in kind of a golden, beautiful yellow. Valley, sitting over here, is quite a designer and has come up with a model for making the sanctuary look warmer and more attractive. And so we would be raising money to repaint that and this back here. So those are the projects. So we're offering these little fir trees. For, if you weren't at the auction, if you spent $100 or more at the auction that we had for Night of the Irish, Thursday night, then you got one of these trees. Or we have it waiting for you if you didn't pick it up when you left. So, but if anyone who would like to contribute to those causes and wants the first ones to do so, I think we have 6 trees left. We were donated 30 of them. So anyway, it's a lovely thing to do to plant a tree. And while these are fir trees and they will grow to be huge, you have to find a good place in your yard for it. They grow very slowly. I mean, you can be with them for a long time and they won't be taller than you are. So, but they're little precious darling trees. So if you'd like to support us in those projects, we invite you to do so. Just put Irish event. Yeah. All right. I think that's sort of the announcements. So now we're going to hear one of my favorite songs that Stephan Plummer wrote was called Rising in Love. I've used it many times at Easter, but we need to rise all the time, don't we? Okay.
I have a tree story. So trees really are wonderful to plant. And when I was 16 years old, one of my first jobs, I worked for a government thing called CETA. You probably heard of it. And we had bundles of seedlings, 50 trees to a bundle. And you would carry 200 trees on your waist in these bundles. And we would plant in places that had burned out, you know, and they couldn't get the machinery and so forth in there to plant. And so I was planting around 1,400 trees a day for months. And in Front Royal, Virginia today, because I'm like 60, you know, I'm later in life, and but those trees, I mean, I have a whole forest in Front Royal, Virginia, with my name and footprint and handprint and everything on it. And there's really, you know, it's like, it's one of my resumes in life. Like, you know, now I'm looking back, like, what are the accomplishments so far that I've done that I'm really proud of? And I'm so proud of that and thankful. So yeah, every time you get a chance to plant a tree or love a tree or even hug a tree, you know, don't miss your opportunity. So yeah, I wrote this song years ago. It's called I'm Rising in Love. Though there are times when I cannot see the path in front of me, I lose my way, feel so alone, like every friend I've ever known is gone, so far, far from home. Then I hear life call to me, there are choices to make, so how will it be? Are you gonna play safe, risk nothing at all? Or will you rise up with the colors of dawn, illuminating every step that you take? And I'm rising in love. choice. This is my life, and I'm rising in love. And fear won't stop it, and the seasons won't change it. War can't kill it. I now claim it. Love, divine Spirit God within me, your love flows throughout so naturally, raising my heart, singing my voice, speaking of love and calming the noise and generating every breath that I take. So I'm rising in love. I'm rising in love, yeah. This is my choice. This is my life. And I'm rising in love. I know that love is lifting us higher. 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 Whoa, higher and higher and higher. Higher. I know that love is lifting us higher. Oh, higher and higher and higher. Are you feeling it? You feeling it, love lifting you higher? Sing it with me. Come on now, love is lifting us higher. I know that love lifting us. Let me hear you. I know that love's the only thing. There's nothing else that's gonna lift you up like that. Come on. So let's just sing it together. Come on now, love is lifting us higher. I know that love is lifting us higher and higher and higher and higher. Yes, it is higher. I know that love is lifting us higher. Higher, higher. Thank you.
Great. So our theme for the month as we prepare for Easter is to make a sacred connection, or said another way, to connect with the sacred. And today we're going deeper with that theme. As we discovered last week, as we learned to love ourselves with our human imperfections and our shadows and our mistakes, we find that we make this connection with the sacred. So we're taking it a little deeper into self-love, divine love, going not only higher but deeper. So you're invited into the idea that your journey in this human experience is a journey towards wholeness, towards acceptance, not toward perfection, as we would define perfection. Today you're invited to deepen your connection with yourself and your relationship with God, to move towards wholeness and integration, not perfection. Paraphrasing Ernest Holmes, he says, at the spiritual level, we're perfect, but our individual use of life and law enables us to cover a perfect idea with an imperfect cloak. When we strive for perfection in this human form, we'll always come up short. According to a Sufi tale, one afternoon, Nasruddin and his friend were sitting in a cafe drinking tea and talking about life and love. And so the friend said, well, how come you never got married, Nasruddin? And he said, well, to tell you the truth, I spent my youth looking for the perfect woman. In Cairo, I met a beautiful, intelligent woman with eyes like dark olives, but she was unkind. And then in Baghdad, I met a woman who was wonderful and generous, but we didn't have any interests in common. One woman after another would seem just right, and there would always be something missing. Then one day I met her. She was beautiful, intelligent, generous, and kind, and we had everything in common. In fact, she was perfect. Nasruddin's friend said, well, what happened? Why didn't you marry her? And Nasruddin sipped his tea, and he said, well, it's a very sad thing. It seems that she was looking for the perfect man. So we have to remember that our soul's journey in this human experience is a journey towards integration and wholeness, not a journey towards perfection. About a month ago, most people in the West were divided over how to handle COVID, how terrible the other political party was, and how virtually overnight Westerners have banded together to help Ukraine in form of charitable donations and food in places. I led a vigil for sister cities, for our sister city in Ukraine, Brovary. And the vigil was held about 3 weeks ago, and it sparked contributions of $6,000 that we just wired to Brovary, Ukraine. So the generosity that has emerged has begun to heal the heart of U.S. democracy and to expand the idea that mutual respect and relationships across difference make a difference. And it's beginning to, I think, repair our country's social fabric. Because depolarization is really all of our responsibility. So how do we go deeper? The first step is to act from guidance from your soul. And here's another little story that tells of an elderly man who was traveling with a boy and a donkey. And as they walked through the village, the man was leading the donkey and the boy was walking behind. So the townspeople saw the old man and thought he was a fool for not riding. So in an effort to please them, he climbed on the animal's back. When they came to the next village, the people said the old man was cruel to let the child walk while he enjoyed the ride. So to please them, he got off and set the boy on the donkey, and they continued on their way. And so in the third village, people accused the child of being lazy for making the old man walk. So the suggestion was made that they both ride. So the man climbed on, and they set off again. In the fourth village, the townspeople were indignant at the cruelty to the donkey because he was made to carry two people. The old man and the boy decided that maybe the critics were right, so they got off and carried the donkey. As they crossed the bridge, they lost their grip on the animal, and it fell into the river and drowned. So the moral of the story is if you live your life trying to please others, you will eventually lose your, well, shall we say donkey? Have you ever found a time when you lost that because you listened to the criticism of others? Just notice for a moment. Just notice with no judgment and feel it right now. And just take a deep breath and make it okay. So the second parable to illustrate this idea is the story told of the lighthouse keeper who worked on a rocky stretch of coastline who received a new supply of oil every week. And so not being far from shore, he had a lot of frequent guests. And one night, a woman from the village begged oil from him to use in her stove. And another time, a father came by and asked for some to use in his lamp. And since all the requests seemed legitimate, he would comply and give them oil. Towards the end of the month, he noticed that the supply of oil was very low, and soon it was all gone, and the beacon went out. And that night, several ships were wrecked and lives were lost. And when the authorities investigated, the man was very sorry. And to his excuses, their reply was, "You were given oil for one purpose, to keep the light burning." And so the old lighthouse keeper walked away, shattered at the mistake he'd made, never to light the way for a ship again. And admittedly, in the human experience, there are times when we have to make decisions that seem self-centered. It may be that we need to be centered on self and know that divine selfishness is okay. So the second point that Araya Mountain Dreamer proposes is, can you live with failure and still stand on the edge of the lake and shout to the sliver of the moon, yes. So we look at the following biblical figures who overcame personal failures. Abraham was too old. Isaac was a daydreamer. Jacob was a liar. Leah was unattractive. Joseph was abused and abandoned. Moses had a stuttering problem. Gideon was afraid. Samson was a womanizer. Jeremiah and Timothy were too young. David was an adulterer and murderer. Elijah was suicidal. Isaiah preached naked. Jonah ran from God. Job went bankrupt. John the Baptist ate bugs. And Peter denied Jesus. The disciples fell asleep in the Garden of Gethsemane while praying. The Samaritan woman was divorced more than once. Paul was too religious. Timothy had an ulcer. And for heaven's sakes, Lazarus was dead. If all these people could go on and rise to the level that thousands of years later people honor their existence, we're still reading about them, then we can too. Ernest Holmes says we each have the ability to choose what we do with our lives, and we're unified with a law that automatically produces our choice. And while we don't have the ability to destroy the idea of ourselves, we do have the ability to deface and to make it appear discordant. But we can't destroy our divine image. And so it's about seeing the divine image of yourself. I love the work of Elizabeth Gilbert in her 2015 book, Big Magic. She says to talk to yourself in a very direct and real way when you're not able to see your own beauty. And this is how she puts it. Over time, I found the right tone of voice to use with myself. It's best to be insistent but affable, to repeat but don't get shrill. Speak to your darkest, most negative interior voices the way a hostage negotiator speaks to a violent psychopath. Calmly but firmly. And most of us never back down. You cannot afford to back down. The life you're negotiating to save, after all, is your own. Who the hell do you think you are? Your darkest interior voices will demand. It's funny you should ask, you can reply. I'll tell you who I am. I'm a child of God, just like anyone else. I'm a constituent of this universe. In fact, that I'm here is evidence I have a right to be here. I have a right to my own voice. I have a right to be here. I have a right to collaborate with creativity because I myself am a product and consequence of creation. And I'm on a mission of artistic liberation. So let the girl go. See, now you're doing the talking. What would your life be if you spoke to yourself that way when you were not seeing your own beauty? When you're not remembering that back of that one, which you see, is the mirror of the divine image. One of the ways we diminish ourselves is through a habitual pushing away of the good that's trying to come our way. So if anyone pays you a compliment this week, if anyone says anything good about you, say, thank you for noticing. Thank you for noticing. Let's say that. Thank you for noticing. And if they say, you look wonderful today, oh, I didn't get enough sleep last night. My bags have bags. Just say thank you for noticing. So turn to someone and say something nice about their energy right now. And what do you say in return? Thank you for noticing. Okay. So, secondly, it's good to be part of a spiritual community. In every spiritual tradition, people have gathered together. And when people gather together for spiritual growth, they make an agreement, silent or spoken, to become co-creators. And this activity takes place at different levels. New beliefs are expressed and accepted. The mind accepts certain facts and rejects others. We get a new vocabulary. Bonding occurs. And at the subtle level, spirits align. And so the third point is to commit to becoming a co-creator. At this moment, you have the capacity to be a co-creator. All you need is one core belief: God consciousness is attainable. God consciousness is attainable. As we take this connection deeper, our confidence will emerge. And when the work comes to fruition, consciousness shifts. So the seeker must envision taking an active interest in the unfoldment of the soul. The give and take we experience on a spiritual path isn't the result of the soul's coming and going, because the soul's present doesn't come and go. I mean, it's always there. It's constant. What wavers is our perception of it. And so the fourth point is to meditate in prayer. We just started back with our Thursday night meditation, mindfulness meditation with Drew Ebersole. I invite you to come and experience that. It's just an hour on Thursdays from 7 to 8:15. So meditation, they've done research on longtime meditators, Buddhist monks, and they realize that these individuals do not suffer from anger, anxiety, or alarm reaction. But the path really isn't about dulling our awareness. It's about waking up. And your existence has to become more meaningful. And meaning blossoms as your vision deepens. So you won't become holy overnight. But if your deepest connection is to your ego, you won't accomplish any spiritual changes. You may be tempted by the prospect of freedom, but you won't be able to walk out of the prison. Trappist monk named William Austin Menninger, who was in a monastery in Spencer, Massachusetts, ran across the Cloud of Unknowing that was written by a 14th century English hermit. And we used it once at a retreat, I believe, when Sharon still had her labyrinth. And he's the one they attribute the whole notion of centering prayer, contemplative prayer, to, William Menninger. And so these were the words he read from the Cloud of Unknowing. I want to start out by asking you a question. What's the essence of human spiritual perfection, and what are its qualities? And I'll answer this for you. On earth, spiritual perfection is only possible through the union between God and the human soul in consummate love. This perfection is pure and so sublime that it surpasses our human understanding, and that's why it can't be directly grasped or observed. But wherever we see its consequences, we know that the essence of contemplation abounds there. Contemplative prayer. So, and that's the whole notion of taking a passage like we had from Carl Sagan and just reflecting on it. It's another form of prayer. The fifth point is to keep it simple. Deepak Chopra, in his book called The Third Jesus, which I think is a wonderful book, says, appreciate your experiences, but don't try to own them. And he says, avoid thinking of the path as my path. Let things come and go without attachment. And share your path only with someone you trust. And offer thanks with simplicity. Don't allow your experiences to set you apart or set you above anyone else. And don't be tempted to think you're a saint. So the sixth point is, for going deeper, is to live in the present moment. According to Deepak Chopra, that present moment is comprised of alertness, being awake, openness, being free of expectations, freshness, not being overshadowed by the past, innocence, not judging from old experiences, spontaneity, letting new experiences come in without censorship, and replenishing the capacity to renew yourself from within. So right now, your present moment may be full. It may be full of memories, expectations, projected beliefs, past conditioning. But the present moment could be full in a far more real way. If you think you know all about life, you may reap opposite qualities. Stale instead of fresh, depleted instead of replenishing, dull instead of alert, knowing instead of innocent. So the best way to retrieve the present is to clear out the past. And so finally, you've been called to make that deeper connection with the sacred by accepting, not just accepting, but by loving the fullness of who you are. So be true to yourself, even if it means disappointing another. Live with failure and still stand on the edge of the lake and shout to the sliver of the full moon, yes. And to see beauty, even though it's not pretty, every day, and to source life from the presence. So here's a homework exercise for you to use this week. Shift from thinking your cup is half full versus half empty. And you've heard that expression, and people run around saying, "Oh, I'm half full today," or "I'm half empty." But so the idea is to shift it to, I am responsible to keep my cup 100% full. And the key is to take full responsibility for your own happiness and thoughts of feeling full. So when you do this, just know that you've taken the sacred connection deeper. William Manager liked to end his messages with this simple prayer. And it is, may you be happy, may you be free, may you be loving, may you be loved, the life of the mind, of reason, of science, the wisdom of the heart, the inner life, the spirit. And so may you enjoy the great circle of life this week. And God bless you. Thank you. Okay.
I said to myself one day, I'm just glad I have a glass. Okay. Strong as an oak tree, free as the wind, faithful like seasons, again and again, soaring like eagles high in the sky, spreading their wings, learning to fly. Beautiful flower, show me the way as you bloom on a sunny day. Strong and free, in faith I'll be, in devotion to the highest good. peaceful as Buddha, wise like Lasso, gifted as Mozart, given to you. Mother Teresa, serving the poor, humble like she was, what she stood for. Forgiving like Jesus, kindness is king. We can be all of these things. Peaceful and wise, giving a prize in devotion to the highest good. All that I ask is given in the will of God. All that I need is gifted in my creation. Beautiful flower, show me the way as you bloom on a sunny day. Peaceful and wise, in faith abide and devotion to the highest good. In devotion to the highest good. Highest good. Highest good. Highest good. Highest good. Thank you.
So it's time for our offering. Would the ushers come forward? So we like to say the blessing that's in your program. Together we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And so it is.
Let's take a deep breath in and let it out. Take another deep breath in, a breath of gratitude and appreciation. And as we breathe in this day, breathe in the presence and the love of God. I'm knowing that God and I are one, and God is one with everyone within the sound of my voice. So I know that today a healing has taken place, a healing of the heart, a healing of the soul, the healing that allows us to recognize our oneness in the universe, regardless of appearances. Also to know that the healing of peace has taken place. Peace. Peace, be still. Knowing that regardless of what we see, the truth is that God is everywhere present. And we know that God represents love and joy and peace. So as we leave this day from this sanctuary, I'm knowing and declaring that each one of us walks in the way of peace, walks in the way of love, walks in the way of a full healing experience for right here and right now in this location, but worldwide. That our love and our hearts radiate love and peace and oneness. And so today I say thank you, God. Thank you for being a gracious and loving God. Thank you for being by my side each and every step of the way, even when I don't recognize it. Thank you for CSL, Tacoma, Rev.Frances, the musicians, the practitioners. Thank you for each person that is right here. And thank you for this and so much more. And so now I release my word into the full activity of love and law, knowing that what I've declared will not return to me void, knowing that it is already done. And I anchor this by saying, and so it is.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice, a spirit on earth. And who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart. I am the heart. I am the hands. I am the voice of spirit on earth. And who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart. We are the heart. We are the hands. We are the voice of spirit on earth. And who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. We're a blessing to the world. I'm a blessing to the world. We're a blessing to the world. And now the peace song, if you want to join in. And circle the wagons. We get to hold hands and see everybody's smiling faces like that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you could.
I can't go.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. walk with each other in perfect harmony.